Hey everyone, Mike and I are sitting here on the couch to share a recent sale on 14 units in Huntington Beach that we just closed a few days ago. This is a high watermark sale in Huntington Beach. We took great care of the client and got a successful transaction closed in a challenging market. So Mike, if you could, take it away. You led charge on the sale. You helped on all fronts with the client, acquiring the building. You help with property management, you help with financing, you put the whole thing together. So if you could, share the viewers on what you closed and the details.
Yeah, kind of give you full circle. Last November, we were reached out by this client. She was selling a commercial property in LA County and wanted to exchange that into Huntington Beach where she currently has a property. So she engaged our team and needed a specific property with specific cap rates and everything, and we were able to source a property off market due to our relationship with this seller. We did a couple transactions with him and his group that year and found a property. And as you mentioned, we arranged the debt for the buyer. We arranged a new property management company to take over, and then inspections. She needed insurance. We did all that. So it was kind of like that white glove service. You know, there's a lot of people say, I want to exchange, but it could be so stressful on me. I got to find insurance out there. I got to find a debt. I got to find a property manager. All these repairs, everything, just gives you some anxiety thinking of that. And we were able to do all that because due to our relationships, we had all that information in-house.
Yeah, finding the buildings a hard part, one of the hardest parts. But then on top of that, you reduced a lot of anxiety, worry, and moving parts for the client because you put everything together. So it was start to finish.
Yeah, and then if we think about the flip side, for the seller, we got this record high price for the building of $625,000 per unit. They completely decked out all the units. They were extremely nice. This is one of the nicer properties in Huntington Beach, and that's what this buyer was looking for, was a stable property, no deferred maintenance, things that insurance companies are looking for now. They're looking for, plumbing, electrical, roof, all this stuff. Everything was taken care of at this property. So they got a great cap rate of over 4.6%, and they were just very comfortable with the whole process. And it was just less management extensive compared to their commercial property they got out of.
All right, so Mike and I wanted to share the highlights of the deal story, the successful part of the transaction, how we helped a client go through start to finish. Now we kind of flip this video. Now we're gonna go into the address, the price per unit, and all the metrics about the property. So Mike, if you will, we've got 14 units we closed.
Yep.
What's the address? And
2512 and 2518 England Street in Huntington Beach. It's two side-by-side 7-unit properties. Actually marks our 5th apartment sale in Huntington Beach in the last 12 months. Cap rate was over 4.6%. Price per unit $625, and then our price per square foot was a little over $600.
And now the unit mix is all 2 and 3 bedroom units. Predominantly the units were townhouse style, and these are averaging about 1,000 square feet each.
Yeah, there was a couple ones in the rear and then 2-bedroom, 3 bedrooms, but these extremely nice property. The current ownership, they put over $1 million in CapEx into it. There's garages as well as in-suite laundry too, so it was just extremely nice amenities for these high rents in the area.
So the buyer that came in, they didn't have to do a lot of heavy lifting. A lot of the work was done. Over $1 million of CapEx was spent by the seller on the property.
Exactly. This is more of that, as we would call it, a turnkey property, and they got in there. And you look at cap rates that you can buy on the open market right now. If it's 4.5%, but then you got to put X amount of dollars to get it to a higher cap rate, and then you're just, you have a budget, and then I think we always go over that budget in remodels. So this buyer was just like, I want something right where I own and to have a good cap rate, and we found that for them off market.
And as Mike mentioned, we knew the ownership group that was open to selling this building, but we not only knew that they wanted to sell the building, we knew the fit and finishes that they put into their projects. We knew the quality of the work. So we knew that this investor was a great match for not only the property it's in their operating area they wanted to own in, but also we knew that the seller put a lot of sweat equity into the property and did quality finishes. They didn't put lipstick on the building and try to turn around and flip it. They really did a deep reno on this property, and we felt comfortable presenting this quality of an asset to our investor that ultimately closed escrow.
Yeah, we just closed escrow on it, and it was, every transaction will have its bumps and bruises on there, but this one was pretty straightforward. We were able to get through the due diligence time And then we closed escrow ahead of schedule too, and that made the seller very happy.
And then you just got a nice testimonial from the buyer. So if you could share some highlights on that. I know it's a little funny, we're reading our own testimonial, but this is one of the only ways that we can share this.
Yeah, it was just one of those moments in your life that you really appreciate, because people see us brokers sometimes just trying to make a commission, right? But we're really trying to help out people and satisfy a need. And when this testimonial came in, it was very complimentary. And this buyer, she's been buying real estate since the 70s, and for herself and relatives, and she spoke highly about our team. And throughout all of her dealings with with brokers, she thought of us as the number one by our unbelievable service. And if she had a question, we were able to get an answer for her. If she needed a vendor, a contractor, we were able to get that. So it meant a lot to us too, because throughout this escrow period, we want to be more of I would say, instead of just a real estate agent, we want to be your partner throughout this. And we were able to do that with her and satisfy everything, just take a lot of the stress off of her too.
Well, Mike, thanks so much for making this happen. I mean, you mentioned it, the service that we provide. I mean, certainly we got to find the right buildings and do the right matchmaking to help investors achieve their goals on a financial basis and find the right properties, but it's going that extra mile. It's going that extra mile, especially in times like this where financing isn't as fluid. There's not a lot of lenders out there. We don't know who necessarily, a lot of clients don't know who's competitive and what LTV is going to match my needs and my return metrics that I'm looking for.
Right.
And who's the on-the-ball property management company that's going to do a good job. And you put all that together. So it is the service. It's service not only through the inspection, the close, and service after the sale. So I think that's really what differentiates our team as a multifamily practice, our niche. So if there's any investors that want to go out and make a transaction happen, maybe you've been on the fence or you've tried doing an exchange before and maybe it didn't get off on the right foot, let our team lean in and help. This is where we thrive. The more complex, the more moving parts, we've got a team to kind of help run the process. So if you would like to have a one-on-one conversation with Mike and see how he can help you with your exchange, we welcome the opportunity. And if you want more details on this property, we'll announce it. We'll also put together a one-pager with a financial summary so you can see the property in its whole. Thanks so much for watching, and Mike, thanks so much for putting this one together.
Thanks for having me. It was a fun one.
It was fun. All right, we'll see you soon.